Okay, general devastation in the kitchen. I've just made a pea and feta quiche that I'm waiting to come out of the oven, and I was left with this pastry. I reinvigorated it. What I did, I put it onto a plate. This is hot water pastry, and I put it on for about 15 seconds, and it's just warmed it up enough to roll it. So there's 40, I weighed it, it's 14 ounces of pastry left. And because I just want to do something easy and quick, I've got a jar of very reasonable pesto that we've picked up from somewhere.
It was from Iceland, it was on offer, it was £1.
Okay, so now remember, pesto is quite salty, and it has, let me tip that on rather than putting the spoon back in. So I'm going to do, to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've done these before, like almost like a sausage roll, sort of flat sausage roll. So I've got pesto, and I've got half a block of feta, and I'm going to crumble that up. See, my thinking is, if you're going to get in a mess, just get in a big mess. This is my pastry, and then clear it all up at the end. There's no point tidying it all up, and as long as you're clean and you know you keep washing your hands and all the rest of it. So I'm going to crumble.
Let's get ready to crumble. You can see Georgina there, her eyes were rolling.
Where would I be without these ad-lib little things? There's no controlling him. Right, so there we go. Now, something I'm going to put on that I've got growing in the garden that Dav is going to go and get me in a minute. Uh-oh. Now, if I send him out to get leaves, we nearly poisoned ourselves once because we picked up the wrong leaf, and yeah, didn't realise, put it into a stew. You could use dried herbs on this, you know, like oregano or something like that. I've actually got marjoram growing in the garden, so what we're going to do is put some little oregano leaves on here. Be back in a sec. These are actually marjoram leaves that I've got growing in the garden. So I've, as you can see, scattered them over. I'm going to put a little bit of egg along here. That's what's going to bind our sort of rolls together. Black pepper, no salt, because and there's no salt in this pastry either, because I knew I was using feta, and feta is incredibly salty, and the pesto is too. Then you just bring this over like that. Now you know there's like almost like a seam where the filling stops. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to even this up a little bit so it's a bit straighter. These are old knives that were my nan's, and I find these are probably the best thing for, you know, cutting, because there's no serrated edge on them. So I'm going to go along here. Now I know this doesn't look very exciting, it's not nice and raised, but these are completely delicious. And when I've done these, I normally put them in a tin in the freezer, and then if ever we have people coming over, you know, like we used to in the old days, you know, we're in lockdown, we do. They're really nice with a glass of wine in the garden because of the fresh spice, and I don't know, they're quite salty, they feel quite Mediterranean. So I'm going to cut these like that. You can cut them bigger. You have to be careful how you handle them, because as you can see, now people say, God, look at the state of your tins, they are bad, but generally I'm putting paper on them, so they're really only holding that. So these are going to be like a little bite. You could do them bigger. You could actually, if you undid this pastry and just put topping all over it and margarine, it would almost be similar to sort of like a pastry pizza. But I find these more useful. And you tend to have a bit less when you do it like this. When you sort of do it in a pizza format, it seems to be gone in one night. I don't know who. If you've got teenagers in the house, you know where I'm coming from. So, okay, so you just got to be careful that they don't open up. So, as you can see, that bit of leftover pastry, while the oven's on, I'm going to pop these in under the quiche. You can do green pesto as well.
Well, we have done green pesto.
Yeah, we've done that. That works really well. I've not done the red one. It depends what you've got in your cupboard. And then we're getting to the end, so there's no filling in that bit. I'll take that off, because that would be mean to give someone that bit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 14 lovely little pesto and feta and margarine bites there.
Like an hors d'oeuvre.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not very posh, is it? But, you know, I'd be pleased if I got one of those. They should be...
Appetizer.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over with a bit of egg wash. This is just purely one whole egg, not just a yolk, beaten up. I don't think I did that one. That would make them a lovely browny colour. I suppose you could put olives in this, but I don't know how it would get on. Not everyone's a fan of olives, and it might be a bit too moist, but that might be an option as well, maybe. Just something like this probably has a name, but it's just something I do with leftover bits. And nothing ever goes to waste. See these little bits here? If I have a little bit of room on the tin, I'll just roll them out and they go out and let the wildlife sort it itself out. When they're cooked, I'll just pop them, make sure there's a little bit of air between them, just stick that on there. Now if we wanted to be, I don't know what these would be like cooked, just going to put one of those on each one. You don't have to do this, of course. And if you're using dried herbs, it's just because I've got it, this keeps coming up, which is brilliant because I use it. Just keeps returning. Really nice herb to have. I've sort of increased my herbs this year because we've all had a bit more time on our hands, so planted more. Because there's nothing better than fresh herbs in the summer. I've also planted some spinach, some chard. I've only got raised boxes. It makes me sound like I've got like a wall garden or something. I haven't, but seems to work really well. It's just enough. There's only 3 of us, so something like fresh salad leaves going out. You can do it in. I've done it in an old Belfast sink as well. I'm going to see how that goes. There's just a little bit of colour. They probably wrinkle and look disgusting. We'll give it a go. Look at those. So they're going to go in the oven on 150 with the quiche, and I'll let you know what they turn out like. Might be a bit of spillage with contents coming out, but that's okay. Yeah, I think they'll be quite tasty. Right, we'll come back to you when the quiche and when these are done. Right, our pesto and feta nibbles with our leftover pastry from the quiche are out of the oven. They've come out really well. They're a good bake. They're easy to pick up. They're very tasty. The leaves have stayed on decoratively. I've just dipped one in homemade mayo dough for you to taste. I have to say one has wandered already. What are we thinking? Nice with a cold beer, glass of wine. So they're perfect. I'm really pleased with those. A great little nibble. Great to use up extra pastry. Cheap feta, cheap pesto. There's still 3/4 of a jar left for another meal.
I don't think it is that cheap. I think it was just on offer.
Oh, it's on offer, but yeah, okay. So inexpensive is the best thing to put it. So thanks for watching that, and hopefully you'll give them a go and see how you get on.